Be strong. Be of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with you whithersoever you go. If you'll believe that, if you'll practice it, if you'll yield yourself to it, doesn't matter what kind of obstacles and difficulties you may face. Recently, I came across a thrilling and remarkable story. Even the title is glorious. By Wheelchair to the Stars. Now, you wouldn't think you could go to the stars in a wheelchair, would you? But this man did. At 17 years of age, he was totally crippled by rheumatic fever. The mere wearing of his clothes was torture to him. He'd cringe at the flapping of a window shade. So tender were his nerve ends. They told him, "You're finished. Washed up. Useless forever." And at 17 years of age. His parents were poor, so he had to sit around the house all day long in a little crude wheelchair that his father had made for him. Useless at 17, 18, 19, day after empty day. Useless. And that word useless cut into him and hurt him more than his painful body did. He didn't want to be useless. He wanted to do something. He wanted to be somebody, amount to something. One day a friend of his said to him casually, "You know, you could make greeting cards." Now that wouldn't thrill you, would it? But he said he'd try. And he set to work. And after 6 months, he made one card, and he sold it for a nickel. And just when he thought he was making a little progress with himself, he fell out of his wheelchair one morning. And he lay on the floor trying to get up. But he couldn't. And he squirmed there like a helpless little newborn animal. Finally, he heard the mailman at the door, and he called out to him. And the mailman came in and saw him there and lifted him and set him back in his chair again and said, "Are you all right?" But the boy just threw back his head and he laughed. The mailman looked at him and he said, "Harry, I just don't know where you get the courage." The boy answered him, "Well, I don't have much. But what I do have, I get from a book where it says, 'With God, nothing is impossible.'" The next year, he earned $800 selling greeting cards by mail order. And he took all that money and he made a down payment on 12,000 Christmas cards. His mother said to him, "Son, what if you don't sell them? What then?" But he said, "Mother, with God, nothing is impossible." Well, he didn't sell those 12,000 Christmas cards. He sold 19,000 Christmas cards. And today he's one of the greatest manufacturers of greeting cards in the entire world. Now, don't think that this story impresses me solely because it's a story about material success. It is that, and it's good. But it's much more than just that. It's proof of what God can do. Proof that when people say, "You're useless, you're helpless, finished, through," that you can still find the greatest secret in life, which is that with God, nothing is impossible. Now, Norman Vincent Peale, you listen. Listen to what you just said. And the next time you have a tendency to whine or be defeated by anything, remember that you can go to the stars in a wheelchair. And you out there, You with your little troubles. Or maybe you've got big troubles. But you listen to this. Because this is a fact worked out in the laboratory of Christian experience. Be strong. Be of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be dismayed. Practice that. And why can you be sure of it? Because in the glorious last line, the Lord. Now remember this. The Lord thy God is with you whithersoever you go. Yes, even in the darkest shadows. And with him by your side, you can have courage over all of life. Spread the word around the university. I like to see young faces out there. Hello, Ruth.
Good morning, Dr. Peale. If you're not busy, I'd like to talk to you. I feel I should explain why I didn't answer your calls, why I told the girls to tell you I was out.
I'm not going to listen to your explanation.
Dr. Peale.
At least not here on the church steps. We've got a long overdue date for a ride in the country. Would you risk a ride with the wrong kind of doctor? You're going to tell me why you didn't answer my calls.
There's no point to it.
Could you be more specific?
I just didn't want to become involved with a minister.
Is that all? I was afraid that you were engaged or there was some serious drawback. But why wouldn't you want to become interested in a minister? I don't mean me. I just mean ministers in general.
Well, for one thing, I am not the type of girl that a minister should waste his time on. I'd never do for him, he'd never do for me.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
I like excitement. I don't want my life to be dull, not for a minute.
What else?
I like independence, like pretty clothes. If short skirts are going to be in style, mine are going to be as short as anyone else. I'm just using short skirts as a figure of speech.
Is that all?
That's all.
You want to go straight home, or would you like to stop for dinner someplace?
Well, it's a long ride back. You're probably hungry.
I've never been so hungry in my life.
I hope I didn't offend you by what I said about ministers.
You didn't say anything at all about ministers. You just told me what you wanted out of life, and I agree with you. I like excitement. I certainly like my independence.